Welcome back. Okay, so Tampa Bay. The streak is over. So it's Vasilevsky against Shesterkin in this one. Now the Rangers came into this one with a new franchise record 7-game home winning streak in the playoffs. That's a record for one season for the Rangers. Vasilevsky and the Tampa Bay Lightning 17-0 when having lost the previous game in the playoffs since 2019 when Columbus swept them. So there's going to be a lot of discussion of what's going on here, but I don't want to take anything away from the Rangers or away from Shesterkin, and I want to talk about the 3 stars when we get there too. So McDonough had a sharp angle shot that was saved, I'm in the right spot. Scary pass by Vasilevsky was not intercepted, but boy, it was close. He should have been tending his goal, or at least made a better choice of what he was doing there. And then it's weird. This is the only power play Tampa Bay had in the game. And I'm going to say straight out, they probably should have had a couple more. And there probably should have been a couple more for the Rangers than what we saw. The referees let a lot of stuff go. But what was weird was Maroon and Reeves are unfriendly with one another on the faceoff. So they start kind of, the whole thing. And then they line up, and then they did it again. So I expected a 4-on-4. But they gave Reeves a slashing penalty, even though Maroon has got his stick right under here. So that's holding the stick last time I checked. But again, it becomes a power play, and it takes 10 seconds into that power play for Tampa Bay to score. So it's Kucherov from Hedman and Cirelli at 2:41. So a penalty that I thought was questionable. Like, I'm not saying Reeves didn't belong in the box. I just thought Maroon should have gone as well, just to cool things down, put them both. Because these guys have been kind of jawing at each other for a couple of games now, right? So Bolts then look to add another. Paul has a sharp angle shot, that's saved. Panarin then had a break. Vasilevsky holds on that. Panarin then had a net feed, that was blocked. The Rangers press. Hedl has a shot that's held. Killorn with a rush chance, that's blocked. But at 5:59, the Rangers tie it. And it's scored on a rebound off the rush by Keandre Miller, who's had a very good playoffs, from Vetrano and Kreider. So Vetrano, pretty big playoffs for him so far. And really, the Rangers tied it up. Mika then had a chat with the linesman about the speed at dropping the puck. And you know what? Players must get frustrated with this more than we see on TV. How many times have you watched where the linesmen are lining guys up and, okay, you back off, okay, you get there. And it's like, just drop the puck already. Just drop it, especially when they're like, all right, you guys have to stay there. And then you watch, and they're not. And they just drop it anyways. And it's like, why are we taking so long? So anyways, that happens. The shots are 4-3 in favor of Tampa at 7 minutes. Mott steals one. Short Rangers press follows that. Stamkos was then robbed on a rush of his own. The Igor chance start there. So Igor, after having allowed one on, I think it was the second shot he faced, the Igor chance start right away. So Ranger fans have supported Shesterkin the whole way through. They can be brutal for visiting teams. I do like how they support their goaltender, and it definitely, I think, is a good thing. So the Rangers press. They draw themselves a power play. Panarin has a blast that's held. Zibanejad blasts one wide. His next opportunity was held as well. So it's killed off. That's your 2 shots on the power play. Mott then steals one and hits the post on a fast break. I thought Tyler Mott had a very good very good game. But in the third period, he got shaken up on a play where he kind of runs into the boards. I don't have it on the board, but it's one of those things where it's like, Mott came back from an injury not too long ago. I hope he doesn't get hurt again. That happens. Then Schneider fires one high. The Rangers go back to the power play. It was about a minute after the last one finished. Zibanejad has a blast kicked aside. His next shot's blocked. The power play's killed off. Just the one shot on net for the Rangers. Killorn then has a net feed that won't go. The Rangers cleared it out. Lafreniere is denied. And then Kakko was not. So really good shift and passing by the kid line. It's Kakko that scores from Fox and Hedl at 17:32. So Fox keeps his point scoring streak going. Just that kid line seems to get better every game. And it's remarkable. They even had them matched up against the school bus line for Tampa Bay there, which I thought was a very entertaining matchup throughout the game. Bolts look to answer. Cirelli has a shot that's saved, but after the first period, it's 2-1 for the Rangers. And you could feel the momentum had shifted in New York's favor in that second half of the period. Second period, early press by the Bolts. Hedman has a blast that's blocked. Hagel fires one wide. We're starting to see the desperate hockey from Tampa in the second period. That desperation, we need this, right, kind of game, which we're used to from Tampa if they've lost the previous game. Then there's a post for Lafreniere as he continues to generate a lot of opportunities. I really think coming out of this run, Lafreniere next year is going to be fantastic. So Mott has a rush chance saved. Almost wasn't saved by Vasilevsky. There was some juggling of the puck going on. And Vasi does hold on in that situation. Vetrano then fires one wide on the rush. The Rangers press after that. Panarin has a shot that's saved. We get some good back and forth action around the 5-minute mark of the second period. Vasilevsky then holds a Hedl shot. We get some pushing after that, and the Rangers come out of that with a power play. That was a surprising power play, a little bit to me for the Rangers, but hey, again, some interesting calls made tonight. So, Panarin has a rush. Vasilevsky kicks it aside. The Bolts clear it out. Vetrano's denied. The net gets knocked off. The ice issues cause a delay. And the ice issues are from the net being knocked off. And if you knock it off really forcefully, you might damage the ice around that peg. So that's kind of what they were looking at. And so, yeah, that power play's killed off. And there's 4 shots allowed. The kid line then presses at 8.5 minutes. McDonough defends a 3-on-1. Nice play by Ryan McDonough there. That was a certain goal. Ruda has a sharp angle shot that's saved. Kreider has a chance saved. The Bolts rush. Hedl then had a shot that was held after that. So Hedl continues to be all around the net in this series. Rangers doing a good job blocking the middle of the ice too. So for Tampa Bay, if they were getting shots, they were basically from the outside quite a bit, and they were making sure that Shesterkin could see them too. Bogosian defends on his Zibanejad chance. The Bolts press with 1.5 minutes left. Trouba blocks a shot from Stamkos. Hagel then had a net feed. There was a near miss. They also talked about Trouba in the third period during this game, and comparisons were made to Scott Stevens with the way Trouba hits, and I can't disagree with that. So we're going to the third period. The Rangers are still ahead 2-1. So it's only a 1-goal deficit, right? And we're waiting for that miraculous comeback from Tampa. And honestly, they played a very good third period, but early press by the Bolts. They're kept to the outside. Vetrano then fires wide on a 2-on-1, but then on a rush right after that, Zibanejad scores from Vetrano and Kreider at 1:21. So that's Vetrano's second assist of the game. Bolts look to answer. Paul has a shot that's blocked. Colton couldn't bury one. The Rangers clear it out after that. Kopp has a net feed that's blocked, and the Rangers press. The Igor's better chant starts up here. I really appreciate this chant because very often throughout the playoffs we'll hear like the trying to hex the other goalie. I like this chant better. I think it's kind of a creative way of doing it. It's original. It's not just trying to hex Vasilevsky and chanting at him or anything. It's just, hey, Igor's better, and props up your own goalie and props to them. So we had that chant going. Chernak has a chance blocked. His second opportunity was saved. Maroon has a blast that's blocked. Then there's a near miss by Colton. Maroon's denied, and the Rangers finally cleared out. They were pinned down there a lot in the third period. Lafreniere then had a shot that was saved on a 2-on-1. And it really looked like the whistles were put away. We were seeing a lot of calls that could have been made that weren't. And again, both teams guilty of some infractions here that the referees are like, we're just going to let them play. So the shots are 7-4 for Tampa at 9.5 minutes. The Rangers holding on. But while they're sitting back, they're also doing a good job shot blocking. They're not giving Tampa Bay really good opportunities when they get the zone. We get a long stretch without a whistle, too. I think it went like about 8 minutes. It was a long time without a whistle there. Trouba with a hit on Cirelli. That draws a cheer. Could have been worse for Cirelli than what it was. Rangers press with 8 minutes left. The Bolts then press right away after that. They're kept to the outside again. So the Rangers letting them have the zone, not letting them have the middle of the ice. You want to pass around the outside? Cool. You want to get to the middle of the ice? That's going to be a no. So that was going on. 6:05 left. Hedman takes a penalty. And this was after there were a few calls that were let go. And for Hedman, it was a trip. So with it being a trip, and I guess the referee decided it was on kind of a dangerous opportunity that could have been transpiring, you've got to call it there. So McDonough clears early in the penalty kill. Rangers set up. They cycle it. Panarin has a blasted save. Trouba has a chance that's held. It's killed off. And then Igor resumes saving the day. Another really good game for Shesterkin. Hand up if you're surprised. Why did you put your hand up? You're not surprised. You're not surprised. So, goalie pull with 4 minutes left because they're down by 2. The Bolts, they ice it though, so that forces Vasilevsky back in. They did pull the goalie again once they cleared the puck out of the zone. Kucherov has a net feed that's blocked, but then Nick Paul with a nice goal. He scores from Perry and Kucherov at 17:58. He got Igor to bite on a fake and then put it right around him and into the net. So not much chance for Shesterkin there. And so this makes it a 1-goal game, right? Maybe a little bit of concern at this point. Bolts then press for the tie. The goalie gets pulled again with 1:10 left. Igor making some big saves. Heavy press by Tampa. The Rangers ice it with 37 seconds left. So John Cooper, looking at the situation, says, I'm calling a timeout. So they call the timeout. The Rangers ice it again with 28 seconds left. And then the Bolts went offside with 4.7 seconds left. And that's your game. And that's when the crowd really went nuts. So your final score is 3-2 in favor of the New York Rangers over Tampa. They lead the series 2-0. They've won 8 in a row at home. And the New York Rangers are 2 games away from their first Stanley Cup final since 2014. So we'll see whether or not they get there. Shesterkin is the 6th goaltender in Rangers history to win a 10th game in the playoffs. So there's some history being made here. And we'll see whether or not they can finish it out. The 3 stars, Fox, Vetrano, and Miller. Now, personally, I would have gone with Shesterkin as the 3rd star, Kucherov as the 2nd star, and Zibanejad as the 1st star. But you know what? It don't matter. This was a great game. It was very enjoyable to watch. The shots were 8-7 Rangers in the first, 14-10 Rangers in the second, and then 14-6 Tampa in the third. Final shots are 31-28 for the Bolts. Tampa Bay goes 1-for-1 on the power play, and the Rangers go 0-for-4. So it's weird because they gave Tampa Bay that power play early that seemed like it should have been a 4-on-4, and then Tampa didn't get another power play the rest of the way. The hits, 32-23 in favor of Tampa. Vasilevsky saves 25 out of 28 at one end of the ice, and Shesterkin saves 29 out of 31 at the other. Shesterkin just continues to be a tremendous story in these playoffs, and I'm here for it. So we'll see how things go in Tampa. Tampa has to win both at home. I don't think there's any way around it. If they lose either game at home, the Rangers would be coming home for Game 5 with that 8-game winning streak and the crowd on their side. And if Tampa Bay wins both, then they come in and then they could have that momentum to try to get the series back. But it definitely looks like for the first time in 3 years, we might be looking at somebody knocking Tampa Bay out of the playoffs. They got 2 games to go. They're the toughest 2 to get in the series. We'll see if they get there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this series has been far more entertaining than I had expected, to be completely honest. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.